Hey, good morning from the dojo. It's Mike Magoo. So, again, I don't really want to get into politics. I don't want to be this left-right guy. It drives me crazy. But I am a left-center person, have been almost all my life, and I can no longer understand or grasp left politics. It's really this strange clickbaity movement to maximize and continue losses forever. It's frustrating and it's annoying. And it's due to this lack of knowledge, this pure arrogance of ignorance, and being spoon fed the same type of BS that you think your enemies are low and small for absorbing. So the MAGAs are dumb because they listen to Trump and they believe this BS and blah, blah, blah. But we on the left, we're smart because we don't listen to BS. Wrong, wrong. You're worse. It's worse than the other side. I'll give you two examples right off the top of my head. And it's why we lose, because credibility goes sailing away and it never comes back. ICE. I understand ICE is a terrible thing. Mass deportations are a terrible thing. I understand Trump plays up on it. He loves it. He likes to rile everybody up. He wants it to gain attention. He wants all eyes focused on it. It's great. It's good for him because while that's happening, oligarchs are changing our legislation and killing the middle class and the poor and voting themselves more and more and better trickle down and more wealth, and the poor in the middle are getting nothing. So ICE has been deporting for 5 presidents since about 2013. Number one still would probably be Obama, which is pretty freakish when you think about that by number. However, because of all the government shutdowns, Trump has probably done a lot more, but we can't get a count. So this is, again, how liberalism doesn't help. You need to read. You need to understand a white paper. You need to follow the technology a little bit. You need to kind of look at the bigger picture, the linear. What's the thought behind it? What's the motivation? What's the MO? What do police look for? Why did they do it? What motivated them to commit that crime? What was the intent? And so, what's the intent of ICE? The intent of ICE is to basically, there's a bunch of guys, Border Patrol agents and others, law enforcement jobs. It's a jobs program. We're always deporting. There's many millions and millions of illegals. After Biden's complete botch of that, there are many more million illegals, and they're from countries that we don't find quite as desirable. They're not from Mexico. They're not from Puerto Rico. They're coming in from China and from Russia and Haiti, particularly Haiti, places that are going through crap and stress. They're coming through Mexico, but they're not coming from Mexico. I live next to Mexico. I was in Mexico drinking last night and playing roller hockey. Mexico's doing fine. They have all of our upper Midwest businesses down there. They're booming. They're exploding. They're going to build a new canal that's going to end Panama's reign. Mexico is Aztec and Mayan, and it comes from revered cultured civilizations who built amazing ruins and things and are way ahead and a lot of stuff. It's just this relationship we've had with America. It makes them look bad and makes us look good, or vice versa. And when I'm a New Yorker, it's great. When I'm in Texas and Mexico, people introduce me. They go, he's from New York, and they go, whoa! Like, I'm the bad guy. I'm the criminal. People are more scared of me from New York. But when I'm in New York and I say I'm in Mexico, they're like, whoa, cartels. I'm like, no, it's the same. You both eat tacos. Shut the fuck up. It's so ridiculous. The big difference, and I'll tell you what I've discovered, is civilized, well, I wouldn't say civilized, but developed countries, very developed countries, the big industrialized developed countries, America and Russia and China, all these others, the big cities we've learned to warehouse our poor. So housing projects have replaced so much blight, I realized, because when I was driving around Mexico, I'm realizing that just people will live in shit. They'll live in all kinds of, poor people will live in crap housing all over because they don't build the housing projects where they can bring a warehouse the poor and then gentrify the rest of that and turn it into retail or whatever they have to do, which is what we do. So the projects become this contained thing of thousands and thousands of people. And, these other towns don't do that. So it's just kind of funky. You go to Monterrey, you don't see poor people anywhere. It's one of the richest cities in Latin America. And because they've built housing for that. Now, liberals like, see, we have to build that housing, and Republicans are, no, we would never build that. But the truth is, you need the fucking housing. That's what you do. Otherwise, people will live in RVs or on the street or start breaking squatter laws or start doing all kinds of other things, and the drugs become rampant. This is what I mean. So you can't fight fire by fire by fire by fire. That's a Trump tactic. It has been since the 70s, to just sue people and accuse and lay blame and lie and create all these fires. And I've watched for 6 years the liberals just go like this: fire, 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 ice, ice, this. It's the dumbest way to politic. It's made people like Liz Warren completely ineffectual, out of their game. It's taken, all of these leftist Democrats out of their game. And it's made the establishment Democrats civil war against the left Democrats, the socialist Democrats, whatever the fuck you want to call them. But I was with Bernie all along. Why? Because Bernie's the only one trying to go after trickle down. And trickle down's our biggest problem, really. It's what creates all the money bullshit. It's what has created the complete wealth divide. It's what will ultimately create the civil war that the founding fathers warned about, because all the wealthy there'll be 12 of them living in these communities that you can't access without, military equipment. And the rest of us will be living in manufactured shitbox housing, the kind of projects I'm talking about. They'll warehouse us. Russia took people from their homes in the 70s, homes they owned, tore down the homes, built these fucking block cement apartment buildings, and that's where those people had to live. Their homes were gone, taken, and moved. This shit can happen. So ICE is one. Stop jumping around like ninnies every time you hear about ICE. Learn what immigration is going on, what it's about. 5 different presidents have been immigrating. Have been deporting. Why? Because that's our country. It's a balance of jobs and employment and public manipulation and scaring your neighbor and division. And that's what most of it's about. But most of us deep down understand who fixes our house, who picks our strawberries, who helps, who does the landscaping. We get it. We know. My landscaper on Long Island was an El Salvadorian immigrant, had 10 times more money than me, 5 trucks, a bunch of workers, great landscaping business. He's a model American from El Salvador. Whether he's here illegally or not, I have no fucking clue. But the point is, that's what we need to do. We need to make people part of the fabric. But our entire society now, politically, and thanks to Citizens United, is built on division. There's no money in unity. All the money is in division. Every election is won by 1%, 51 to 49, 51 to 49. That's not normal. That's not how politics should work, really, ever. There should be a clear consensus, unless, how many games do you see in pro sport that end in a tie all the time? Ever? That would have to be a really manipulated league, wouldn't it? Once in a while, you're going to get overtime. You're going to get a tie game. You're going to get 2 closely matched teams. But most of the time, the better team is going to win based on the merits of their talent and who's playing that night and basic, stuff like that, their roster. So the left has just come out and become this perpetual lose machine. Losing Roe v. Wade, losing the Supreme Court, losing to Trump twice, just losing every turn. And then I watch the people who are supposed to win argue in Congress, like Liz Warren, about technology or about, different things. And they just come across as these screaming ninnies who didn't bother to read the white paper, who didn't give this CEO enough respect to understand that the guy's been doing it for 30 years. He's not just out there to hurt everyone. He's not just there to make you poor. He's there to change. He has a vision. He has a company. He hires people. He invests thousands, millions of dollars. He wants to be rich, but he wants to do something. He wants to change the world. He wants to make something. Maybe he's an evil bastard. If so, hopefully karma or law, decent legislation should curtail that, shouldn't. But why isn't she making decent legislation? Because they're off the rails. They're off the reservation. They go in there and they just bicker at these guys for 5 minutes. And the guy goes, well, it's all in the paper. Read it. What do you want me to tell you? You're arguing about stuff that's not realistic. It's not part of the problem. You're just mad. You're just mad at technology. So you're arguing with us, and you think, is that going to stop anything? Is that going to change it? I watched them do it to Kevin Warsh, 30-year financial guy, and they're asking remedial banking questions. And he's like, I'm not a banker. I don't work for banks. He goes, I am in Federal Reserve. So they don't even know what they're in the room to fight about or for. It's an utter embarrassment. And then they do it magnanimously, which is more embarrassing. I feel bad for the bad guy. It's just, that's how crazy it is. And so let's come to number two, since technology is the thing. The new boogeyman today are data centers. This morning I woke up to see the Detroit group versus data centers complaining about unions who are backing the data centers. Are you all mental? First of all, let me explain what a data center is. It's not this alien invasion that falls from the sky and it takes over your town's water and power and everybody then dies. A data center is a building. We have thousands of them now. We've had them since the 90s. It's a building. Every old telecom building that's at Verizon or AT&T, Ma Bell, they're all co-locations. They're data centers. Data centers. They're filled with data center power. They have server racks and racks of servers and cooling and air conditioning, and they use water and they use electricity, and they've been doing it all along. But now suddenly again, we've all woken up in 2015 to discover that data centers are big evil places, and they're gonna be. Because the more you fight them like this, the bigger and bolder and more they're gonna slam the shit out of little communities to get what they need, because they can't get it from the places they should put it, where the people are. Because what all of it is about is two simple words: computing power. And just as the internet exploded and we needed more computing power, there's an industrial revolution coming through AI and through the increase of quantum and so many different technologies. Technology's exploding. Moore's law, it says it doubles and it doubles and it doubles. Speeds doubles, the size gets smaller. Speed doubles, the size gets smaller. Things get more expensive. So yes, we need computing power because we're going to have data centers in space, because you want to get on ChatGTP or PT or PTSD or ADHD. It doesn't matter. We need these things, and you're going to want compute power so you can watch your movies and watch your sports and do all this and do all that, and businesses are going to do it. But quantum computing is not going to put up with these teeny weeny garbage speeds. You know, these new disks, these new processing units are not going to work on those kind of cheesy speeds. They ain't gonna need speed. They need computing power. They're going to need energy. They're going to need water. They're going to need cooling. So they want to build these massive buildings. And yeah, are they going to use resources? Of course they are. But so does the dumbass factory that you're building yesterday or tomorrow that they're promising 50 new employees and they hired 2. And then they get 50 million in tax breaks, don't pay the schools, don't pay the local roads, don't pay for bridges, don't pay towards politics, don't pay for jack shit. Rich people getting tax breaks to bring 2 jobs instead of 50. What's a data center? It's not any different. They're promising to bring this, but they're not going to bring the jobs. They're still going to get the pilots payments in lieu of taxes. They're still going to get those tax breaks and incentives to bring in employees. They're going to use tons of water, and they're going to use tons of resources, and they're going to pay whatever they pay. But you're not going to know the difference between the data center or the huge, transportation logistics center that's already built next to it. How many of those are up and down the highway? Are they not using things? It's silly. But these are also driving technology. Most of them are going to use tons of solar. Most of them are going to use little bits of nuclear where they can. Again, nuclear is another American bugaboo. We laugh at how liberal France is, but France provides the most nuclear power to Europe. How could France be so liberal and still have nukes? How? Because we're nuts. That's why, because we don't look at things from a scientific, intelligent standpoint. We look at it from he said this, then I say this. He said this, then I must say this. If they said this, we must say this, because that's the way it is. It's two. But what if we went, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this, maybe that? Whoosh. Success, affluence, prosperousness, security, safety, peace. No money in that, suckers. Not a nickel. The money is in. He's wrong, you're wrong, they're wrong. They're trying to screw us. Taxes, this, that, health, vaccines, masks, ACE, fire, everybody. Danger, Will Robinson. It's like, people, you're all insane. We're a bunch of fucking sheep. What happened? Wake up. We're supposed to be the smart ones. We're supposed to know what's going on. How can you fall into this two-party trap so fully, to the point where you'll give up your friends because they're saying things you don't like? I love when people say things I don't like. It either reveals them for a genius or an idiot. That's beautiful. I mean, I'm so out there. You could know in 2 seconds I'm either a genius, I'm an idiot, I'm somewhere in between, or I'm just obnoxious, you don't want to hear it, or I'm a little funny and cute. Whatever the case may be, I'm still speaking factual stuff. I have no desire to be on either side or either team. I never was. And yet I was pigeonholed into it on every freaking turn. Because if I wanted to be with my people, I had to be a blue no how to who Democrat. And if I wanted to be with the other people, I basically had to excommunicate myself from my people, have no friends left, and then go deal with people I think are just as whacked as my people have become. They were the first whacked. Now my people have joined them in whackness. But intelligence and common sense and moderation is a little sliver in the middle here. And it's of no use politically now. It doesn't, in fact, it actually is becoming of use because it's such a small thing and we win elections by 1% that actually independents are becoming important. So everybody needs them now. You're trying to get my vote. But neither of you parties or anybody are going to get my vote like this because you're nuts. You're whacked and you're not helping. You're not doing anything positive for the country. We're going nowhere fast. We're going down, in fact, but technology is booming along and we're just fighting it. Let's just, all the politicians that should be using their brains to make this technology symbiotic with our government and country so that we excel into the future and we can provide massive wealth and prosperity for our people. There's no political power in that. It really isn't. The political power is in fighting on the ground over if ice stepped on somebody's toes or somebody stepped on ice's toes first, and then we could hash out and fight about that. Or we can, Trump will just keep everybody's focus on Iran. But you know what's happening in Iran? Some Americans are making so much money watching oil go up and down. I missed it yesterday. I told my friend on the phone, I said I should buy $10,000 of oil stocks right now. By the end of the day, I would have had $90,000. Do you think Trump's pals and even Democrat pals and even your people in Congress who insider trade all the time are not doing that? Are not making tons of money on this volatility? You're not. I could. I'm not, because I'm not trained and I don't have the money to play, but these guys are. And the data centers, when Michigan's anti-data center liberal tree hugger group, tries to do stuff. And you know what? If you're going to have an anti-whatever tree hugger group, don't censor the fucking comments. Don't cut out all the comments you don't like. That's the clown show left that I've had it with. That's just as propagandist as the right. Wake the fuck up. It's an embarrassment. If you can't take any sort of positive criticism, you're a clown and you're a propagandist and you're full of shit. And you're barking at your own unions. Look, I'm happy to shit on unions all day. But don't shit on the electricians union. Shit on your public union. Your school teacher's making $130,000 plus $60,000 in fucking buku benefits. And then say, gee, I wonder why why our politicians have to give data centers freebies. Because you're paying top dollar taxes to your third grade teacher because she has 4 unions in a place called Union Free School District. Explain that one. But the data center, they're at least bringing something. They're going to bring you computing power. You know who needs the computing power? The schools. So of course they're going to let the data center in. They're going to give the data center tax breaks so that the schools have better internet and the homeowners and you are going to pay it. It's not about, they're coming to kill us and take the water and electricity. It's just another business that you're supporting with corporate welfare. Stop being baby ninnies. Get some backbone and some spine and read a book. Everything is connected. Everything is about money. And if you follow the money, you will find that everyone is involved, left, right, black, white, Puerto Rican, everybody just a freaking. It's follow the money. You'll find out the corporations are getting breaks. The politicians are fucking all of us. And they are paying to make us fuck each other so they can get away with what they're doing. So don't bark at me for calling out both sides. Don't give me bullshit for not being Libby enough for you or Connie enough for you. You're fucking sheep and you need to wake up. And if this rant is turning ugly, it's because this is what happens to me every time I try to get involved and explain to people why we're so screwed up. And we're so screwed up is because we're trusting in con artists and institutional ding-dongs, and we're giving them our money and our rights and our power. And anytime I say it, you would rather fight your enemy. You'd rather fight your neighbor. You'd rather fight me. You would rather fight each other. rather than fight the people who are fucking us. I don't understand that. It's like Bush. It's like we got attacked by Saudi Arabia and Iran. We attacked Iraq. It doesn't make sense. But politically, things don't have to make sense because we're nuts. We're warped by this two-party bullshit duopoly that the founding fathers warned us would do exactly this. And it's 250 years in. Most republics die in 300 years or less. So we're geriatric. We're in debt. We're old. Our military's old. We don't have young people. We don't have a youth base. You know who has a youth base in the world? Almost no one anymore except Mexico and a few other countries. Nobody. Who's going to beat Mexico in a ground war? They're the only one who has 20-year-olds. Their average age is 29. Ours is like 50. Who's going to fight? This is what I'm saying. There's so much more to reality than this bullshit propaganda we get shoved down our throats every day. But it's up to us to be responsible for not being ignorant. Ignorance isn't a fucking character asset. It's a flaw. Get over it. You don't have to be. You're doing it for affect, to be part of a team, to pretend you know something that you can argue with and be about. So everybody in that argument about data centers were idiots. 90% of them were idiots. And the few good posts were fair and interesting. But there was no counter posts, either idiot or good. So this is what I'm saying, this is what I'm doing. So I went in, I made the counter post, I was polite and I was nice, and they deleted it. So that's how strongly that group feels about their point and their mission and whatever they're doing. Clickbait. That's what it is. The left is clickbait and the right is dickbait. I don't know what else to tell you anymore. Peace out. I love you all. Have a great day today. If this seems like I'm in a bad mood, it's not. I'm having a wonderful time doing this. It's what I like to do. That's why I'm doing it for free. But you can support me doing more serious type of stuff like this, and I will actually break it down with some serious charts and all that stuff, which I do from time to time, and I will explain actually how the essence and the mechanics of how we're getting effed all the time and how we might actually change it. So if you can, subscribe. If you like any of this, smash that notification bell so you get notices when I put new stuff up. And some of these rants can be a little on the funny side, actually. And I don't know, maybe that's just me. I think I'm funny. My mom thought I was cute. All right, peace out, everybody. Have a great day. Love you. If no one told you they love you today, I do. Peace.